Good morning, happy Tuesday. I'm Mary Corrado from Mary Corrado Designs here in Portland, Oregon. And it's a hot one in Portland today, so I am going to be working out of my kitchen where I have the air conditioning on, and I can show you the process of stenciling without the stencil getting dry. And believe me, I have tried many times. Luckily, the beauty of this process is it washes right off if it doesn't work. So to get started today, I'm going to show you how to take this simple wood dresser from IKEA. This is the Hems dresser. It's spelled H-E-M-N-E-S. Wasn't sure how to say it, so I looked it up, and you don't say the N. So apparently this is the Hems dresser. It's a sweet little wood. It does have a white finish on it. And so I did sand it a bit before I started painting because I didn't want to, I just wanted to make sure that the paint adhered to it really nicely. But my inspiration for this little nightstand came from, let me get it, Anthropologie. And this is an Anthropologie piece that I just think is so pretty. But the best part of it is that Amy Howard has a stencil that is nearly identical to this bone inlay pattern. So let me show you what that is. Oh, sorry, there's my dog. That's the problem when I have to be inside. Okay, this is called the Moroccan Influence. And look at this beautiful stencil. You can cut it apart if you need to. That's what I do because it's easy to maneuver it and work around areas. But this is identical, just about identical to this. So there you go. Okay, to get started, I'm going to tell you what we need. This is a really good process. This is fun. I enjoy doing this. You just turn on your music and you just kind of zone out and get into the flow of doing your art. So what I started with was I did 2 light coats of Amy Howard one-step paint. And this is French blue. You then, before you even do that, do your clean slate. Make sure that you get a rag, make sure that you wash the piece very, very well, make sure you dry it, and this will get off any surfactants, it will get off any waxes or dirt, oils, all that stuff that could be on there, which could lessen the adherence of your chalk paint. So make sure you use this. Then we did the one step and then use the stenciling, and the chalk art is what you use to actually do the stenciling. And this is, I reckon, it is kind of a creamy white color, and so easy and so fun to use. And if you make a mistake, the beauty of this product is that it is water-based, and you take a wet rag, and you can wipe it right off. So really, mistakes are like no problem. It's not like it's permanent and then oh my gosh, you have to repaint and do all that. No, you just wipe it right off, try again. Okay, and of course we want the light wax and the dark wax, and we want to use Amy Howard's squeegee. And this is just a rubber squeegee. It's great because it's really flexible, it gets real flat. You want to do your stenciling on a 45-degree angle, so this works beautifully. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down, and part of it is already done, and I am going to show you the other part of it. Okay, this is just a practice board. I wanted to do a drawer just like I did, but it was so high that I wasn't able to manipulate the camera and stuff. But let's turn this down, and you can see where I have done some already, but we're going to focus on this area, and I'm going to show you how I got to this. Okay, so what we start with is, and this is what I did on the drawer faces, is I took, and this I have cut. So, you know, whatever, I've got about 3 of these stencils, so I'm able to kind of manipulate them a little bit. But what I am going to do is show you how I got started. So what I did was I just lined up my corners. I knew I wanted a border on each drawer face. So now this isn't going to necessarily line up. Well, maybe I should try and do that. No, that's okay. I'm just gonna go from here. This is a whole new section, so we're going to pretend that it works with the other, but it's not really going to. Okay, so this has a self-adhesive back. It's a mesh stencil, and because it's been warm, I'm just gonna wet that. Always have a little bowl of water next to you when you're doing this stuff, because you are going to be putting your stencil in right away, because otherwise this will dry and it does block the mesh, and so it won't stencil properly. And if it gets, and since it's been so hot, it's been drying really, really quickly. So we'll do our best to see how this works out. And if not, wipe it off, try again. Okay, but I lined up on my drawer front. I wanted the border, and since this is obviously not lining up, I'm going to do half of it and then dry it and move this, readjust the stencil. Okay, so here's my chalk art. It's just a kind of a creamy, but a little bit thick chalk art paint. Chalk-based, water-based, really easy to use. So you just want to squeegee. I'm going to turn this so that I'm coming off so that I don't run into this, because I don't want any of this on my design. So I'm going to just start at like a 45-degree angle and pull across and stencil or screen print, really. So I'm going to do about halfway, just kind of run it over. It's pretty simple. And then what we do is we slowly lift up, and it's looking good. Oh, a little miss here, so let me just go back over that before I take it all the way off. I can go back. That's filled in, and that's filled in. Perfect. Beautiful. See? Easy. Now, I have a little tiny mark right there. I'm going to take my little rag without touching anything else and just wipe it off. Okay, next we're going to blow this dry. This needs to be dry. Oh, let me show you. This needs to be dry before we continue, because I don't want anything smearing. So let's pardon the blow dryer. Sorry, that's Sawyer. Sawyer. Okay. Not quite all the way dry, but good enough for now. Trying to get my dog. Sawyer. Quiet, bud. Okay. So now I'm going to come back. And I am going to line up exactly over. You can see it really, really well. So you just line up over. Oh, sorry. Lay this back down. It's still a little wet, so I'm trying not to get it on there. And we will continue to screen print. I try not to go over where I've already done it, because it tends to kind of pull funny. I think just maybe because it's the way it's dried, so I try to stay, and I try not to do it where it's already been done. And you'll see that if you try it, you will see that it's better just to do one nice pass and, you know, not worry about going over the other. Now let me lift this. Looks good. Looks good. Okay. Make sure, I want to blow dry this, but I don't want my dog barking. Okay, there we go. Super easy peasy. Now, I think I will go on without blow drying this. I'm going to go on and do the centerpiece and show you how I did that. I mean, it's basically the same thing, super easy. It's still in water, so let me pull it out. Now I've seen these, this is, you know, the imitation bone inlay look. And there's so many beautiful, if you look on Pinterest or some of those, you'll see some really beautiful colorways. I was inspired by the Anthropologie chest, which by the way is $3,000. Granted, it's much larger than this little nightstand I did, but they're expensive. And if you have the desire, and if you want to go to IKEA, or even, you know, I found on Facebook Marketplace, the two, I paid $25 for each one instead of $150 for each one. So look and find them online, and it's in perfect condition. So that's just my little hint. Okay, so now I'm going to press this down, and as you can see through, I don't know if you can very easily on camera, but you can see where we've already stenciled. So I know not to go past that line, and same on this side. So this is what I did for the center. Same process, fill up my squeegee, and go from where we've already stenciled, where I can see, and drag across. And drag across. You can go over it a couple times. Hopefully, there you go. Just kind of make sure you've got enough on your squeegee. You can see it as you go. You can see the color of the paint through the stencil, so you can kind of know where to go back. And then I always just lift slowly in case I need to kind of redo a little area. But I've never like put the stencil back down after, because that doesn't seem to work for me. So I would, if I were you and you're having a little trouble, like the whole thing maybe didn't work very well, or a part of it didn't, I would just wash it off and start over. Just take a damp cloth, wipe it off. Oh, okay, here, it's looking like it. I might be doing the same thing. Let's see. Looks like it dried. Let's see. Oh, good, much better. No, see how that, okay, I'm gonna just try it one more time before we lift this all the way off. Hope for the best. Okay. Put your stencil in water. And look, I want to show you. It didn't take all the way. So if this were my real piece, I would wash all of this off as best I could. But for the sake of the video, you get the idea. You see that you just sometimes have to be a little patient. It's not always perfection, but it is worth the process. Okay, I'm going to wipe where that overlapped. I'm going to blow this dry. Oh, you know what? I'll explain something in just a sec. Okay, I know why this happened. This piece I was working on earlier. I finished it with the wax, and I apparently waxed all the way down to here, so my stencil did not adhere where the wax was. So we're going to ignore all of this and continue on with this, okay? Okay, Sawyer. Okay. So next, what you want to do when this is dry is you want to take a roller and your matte sealer, okay? And we are going to seal this because this is just a water-based, it will wash right off, so you have got to seal it. So just give it a good 2 light coats you can of matte sealer. And more blow drying. Here we go. There you go. So pretty. It's just so pretty. Okay, now, like I said, disregard this. Let's look at this. And once this is dry, what you're going to do is you can go back with 1 more coat of matte sealer if you'd like, or you can wax. I'm ready to wax. So we start with our light wax and our light wax brush, and load your brush and offload your brush onto some cardboard. And we are going to just lightly go over everything. You're not overloading, you're just getting a wax finish on top. It is not thick. You can feel it. It's definitely there without being too waxy. I mean, here's my brush. It feels waxy, it feels greasy, but it's not clumps at all. Okay, so there's that. I'm sorry, a quick blow dry once again. Okay, you want this to be dry before you add your dark wax, and because you don't want the 2 waxes to meld together and create its own color. You want a light, and then you want just accents of dark. Now, I didn't want to overly darken this, so I used a small dark wax brush, offloaded a lot. So there's just a hint on here, even though it's been used, so it looks worse. But I just very carefully, like barely touched it, went on the edges, all around. And then I did come in and I went lightly with the grain all the way across my piece. And this is to imitate some of the natural bone inlay kind of gradation of color and just kind of the way it looked. And because this is a slightly raised stencil, it kind of highlights the edges, which is really quite lovely. Can you see that? You see how it's there, but it's very, very subtle, and there's not any areas that you stop and go, oh, that's too dark right there. You just want it really light and simple. You can always go back, but keep it really subtle. This is so pretty in person. Makes all the difference. I did not want to use any dust of ages on this. So let me do a quick, well, actually not. I'm not going to even blow it dry. What you do when this is dry, you just give it a light buff. Oh gosh, all kinds of noises. There's my clock. Okay, let me turn the camera back up. I'm going to show you the finished piece. Okay, I'm going to do my best to be able to show you. Here is my little nightstand. And as you can see, I used the strips to go along. I followed all along the legs, inside the legs. There's the top, which imitates the Anthropologie. And I just filled in where I had to figure out the size of the stencil versus the size of the top. Here are my sides. I wanted it different than the top, so I just repeated the same stencil, filled in, and there you have it. So a little bit of time, a little bit of, you know, elbow grease, I would say, but for $25 and the supplies, not bad. Not bad for a $3,000 chest dupe. And it's so pretty. And I don't think people would come in and say, oh, is that an IKEA piece? No, I don't think so. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Sorry for the confusion earlier today. It's been one of those days. I don't know why. But got her done. And I'm so happy I was able to share this with you and show you. And I think that you're going to really love doing something like this too. So sky's the limit. Any color you like, any stencil you like with Amy Howard, it will absolutely change a piece of furniture for the better. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you again on the second Tuesday of every month. And we'll see you next time. Take care. Stay cool. Bye-bye.